Okay, very well. Here we begin. The session is recording now. Shubhangi, you installed SQL, you're stuck on check requirements. And does it go with you also, Abhimanyu? Is it the same? Shubhangi is mentioning we. I think it includes you too. Okay. Somebody has name. Somebody logged in with name Bharat. Could you please switch on your mic, Bharat? Bharat, could you please respond? Maybe in the chat box. Is it your first session today? Because I don't recall having you on board. We'll do it this way, Abhimanyu and Shubhangi. For now, you can follow my screen, and today itself, after the session, we will connect one on one. Okay. For now, stay with me. Okay, Bharat. Let's give me a heads up about you. Which location do you belong, Bharat? And who is your coordinator? Who is your counselor at Mathematicus? Rest of the guys, let's try it out. Let's fire up your MySQL workbench and let's get acquainted too. You must be seeing this MySQL connection type of here. And here you enter your okay, localhost field. I hope everybody can reach this type of screen. So this is your MySQL workbench in place. You see this place, this is your script file where there is written query one, or here must be coming query one, your file one, or something like that. So this is the place where you will write your various commands and code. Jagadish, you have the option to zoom it up in this GoToMeeting itself. You hover your cursor. If you are using app, you must be able to see that. Yes? Okay. Fine. So here's your script file. Then there are some, there are some data sets. Remember, we installed examples and samples when we were installing. So these are those. These are some data sets which are here for practice sake. Sakila. Let's see a few things. Let's play around here. You click on this Sakila. There comes various options, tables, views, stored procedure, functions. This arrow sign, this small arrow sign, which is the door, which is giving this drop down. Click on this again, and you see then there are several tables which exist in this Sakila. So this Sakila is a database which is here just for practice sake, for taking examples and for playing around. Can we check something? Yes. Check this out. Click on this actor table here. When you click on this actor table, there are three small icons there. If you hover around your cursor, you see that? So click on this tabular icon, this table formed icon. And you see nothing in particular, Monarch. So far, we were just getting familiar with MySQL Workbench. So we have just fired up a Workbench and logged in with the password, made the connection live. Okay. So now your own machine will be acting as a server, and you are fetching some. You are checking out what are the database there. We are just having a look around. So there are databases like there is Sakila, then there is SYS, another database, then there is a world database. So for no particular reason, we chose to explore Sakila. So when we clicked on this drop down arrow on Sakila, it opened a few lists. Among the lists, we chose tables. We clicked on that, and then there are several tables listed here which are present in this database. We clicked on this actor table. I hope everybody has realized by now that actually what has happened. You see, there is a query which has executed. There is a command which executed by these various clicks you have made. It is saying select asterisk from sakila.actor. So for now, you don't need to make out a meaning of this. We will talk about that in detail. But what has happened is this command executed and you are able to see what is the table. What are the column names in this table? Actor ID, first name, last update. What does it seem like? What do you think this table contains? It is containing some details about some actors perhaps. They have given an actor ID 1234, first name, last name, and the last timestamp when this list was updated. What I wanted to tell you, as somebody said, Jyoti, it was whether you will use Workbench or SQL Shell to execute. You see, you are in the same place. If you run this in Shell, maybe you can do that in Shell. Maybe you can try it out on your own. We will be using Workbench in any case. Reason being, it gives you certain ease of communicating with the databases. Okay, so actually the analysis and this query is running in the shell. Execution is in shell only. Workbench is just acting like a communication channel. Yeah, I know. Kind of. If you are, if you are already familiar with shell, you will very soon you will realize that it is much more friendly than the shell itself. So yeah, okay. So with the click, 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 you executed a command internally, and you are able to mm, see a table of a database here. SQL, which essentially stands for Structured Query Language. SQL commands are majorly divided into uh, majorly four categories, and we will talk about them. They are we call them. Okay, maybe somebody we call them DDL, data definition languages. What else? It is DML, correct? Data manipulation language. Then there is DCL. Oh, fantastic! It is data control language. And what else? That is TCL, which is entirely a different division, which says transaction control language. Many of you seem very familiar with this terminologies. Somewhere in between comes, we call it DQL, data query language, which is essentially, no, you can consider it Manohar. It is not, actually none of them is a formal thing. It is just that which, along with time, became popular. And when it is the matter of popularity, it is just that how many people are agreeing to it. Basically, DQL is just a combination of DML and DCL. But since the acronym caught up speed and became popular, so we are calling a segment it is TQL. Okay, we will see. So for now, we will be discussing in detail DDL and DML. or maybe DQL if you call it for now. And DCL and TCL we will cover in next module when we will be studying Hadoop. Yeah. Not able to see schemas in Workbench. And here on top of it, you don't see this schema tab here, or maybe here down below somewhere. Another is it not so that the schema is highlighted here, or maybe you can double click here. Try that. You see. Abhimanyu, yes, there are SQL contains umpteen number of functions and commands. So these all these commands are majorly categorized into these parts. So in a way, you can say that these are uh, in a way, yes, subparts, parts, divisions, whatever you want to call it. Now, what do they do? Okay, so data definition language. This is, as we already discussed, that when data is collected and it has to be modeled in a certain standard way, and then it has to be uploaded on your database. And if that is done properly, we call it extract, transform, load. Have you heard of that ETL process? Maybe heard in some LinkedIn or some job description, you must have seen that. ETL, heard of it? ETL process. DDL are the commands which are majorly involved to define the data on the database, how the data will be, yes, how it will be there. It will contain functions like, think about it, create something. We are creating something on the database, maybe a table, maybe a database, a schema. So creating something. What else can come under DDL? Not select Jyoti, we will see to that. Insert, very fantastic. Update, delete, rename, correct. Getting the kind of getting the hang of it. How my data will sit on the database and how it will look like. So that's all data definition. So this kind of commands will be part of data definition. You should know a nitty-gritty of this. Actually, this is job of data engineers. So you have little to do here. Being analysts, you have little to do here. It is just that you should know what these things are. So, want to try your hands on? Ready for it? Remember, we saw that employees database. Did I send you that PDF to you? Did I? Can somebody confirm? To count correctly. Okay, fine. I will send across again, if not already. Manohar, as I already said, it will be debatable, you know. It is just a matter of popularity. There is no certain division of that. What you call DML and what you call DQL. So there may be debates on that, but for now you can stay with me. Okay. I have sent you people that PDF file, the same which is on my screen. Just check this out. Well, maybe check it in a minute. You will receive that. Don't worry, guys. It is Gmail. It is not Indian Post. When I have sent it, you will receive it. Don't sweat it. Very fine. So you see, I will just talk about its page number 1. You can scroll down to page number 2, where the tables are. This excerpt is taken from Almasri and Nawate. Duly credited here. Jiva, you didn't receive. Oh, Jiva, your mail ID, please, again. Oh, it's Outlook one. Why? Okay, fine. You will also receive Jiva in a moment. Let's get back. Now we have MySQL Workbench in place, and I have this data set Remember we talked about that data set. If data set is coming from various sources, then it has to be someone who will put this together on the database. In this case, it is us who are going to do this. Say this data has come from various sources, this PDF, the same data. How does it go onto the database? So let's start creating a database. You see this database tab. Here there are several options: connect, manage connection, schema transfer, this and that. Then there are these icons, right? You choose this icon, you see this one. If you hold your cursor, it will say create a schema. You have seen this icon multiple times. You identify this, right? The Momo stall. We have seen it. This is tag placed there. Yes, now you remember. Yes, this one. In SQL, it means database, not Momo stall. If we hover on it, it suggests it is creating a schema. Click on that, a pop-up appears, and it is saying what is the new schema. So what do you want this new schema to be called? Let's call it company, a company database. I don't know which company, so let's call it company database simply. I'm calling it company database or not even database. Maybe DB. Apply. And now it is asking, should you go forward? Actually, what will happen? You got the gist. Actually, a command is going to be executed, which is create schema in the name of company DB. Semicolon. Again, you don't have to worry about the command right now. We will talk about these command and syntaxes in detail. But for now, you know that just by click, you are executing some commands. You don't have to memorize these commands. When I apply this, it says execution complete, and finish. We are done with this, and there is company DB. Now it is coming in list of schemas. Fair so far? Everybody done with this? Click on this icon. It will ask you to create a new schema. You can rename your new schema and apply till that execution is complete. When this execution is complete, you will see that new database name here under the tab schema. Okay. Let's go ahead for some DDL. You check, you get the gist, right? Now you have defined a schema. So this is DDL. You create a schema. You have done that. Now we want to create this data, bring this data in this database that is we have just created, that company DB, right? So there is a table employee which is coming from, now we are not bothered about the source. It came from different sources, but now it has to be on that common database. Let's do this. Here in the chat box, just copy it and paste here in your script file. What we want to do is what we are trying to do is we are creating a table. The syntax is, are you getting this? Language, what is the language? What is the DDL here? It is create table. You want to create a table. Table name is employee. And then what this employee table contains as columns. Let's see, what does it contain? For the purpose of readability, for the purpose of this cleanly readable command, I have written these in different lines. It would not have made any difference performance-wise if they were written in one single line. Okay. First things is fname, and we are calling it varchar 30. Now, what is varchar? This is data type which this column will pertain to. Varchar essentially means variable character. Character means alphabets, basically. So it will contain a column fname, which will be a character data type, and it can be of variable length up to length 30. That's what it means as a whole.
So I'm not getting anything. Can you please check by sharing my screen? Allowing me to share my screen.
Monarch, it is right.
Yes, sir.
Just a moment. And here, Monarch, you are presenter. Tell me what it is. Meanwhile, everybody, those who are here, please stop being present in the chat box for your attendance purpose. Present in the chat box. Please, everybody, please don't miss that.
So there is no option to share, sir. Share is not activated.
I don't know, Monarch, you are presenter as per me. You are logged
But
in
the
by
share
web.
option is.
You are not doing it by, you are not downloaded the desktop app.
No, sir.
Okay, give it a few seconds. It happens sometimes. It may take some. It may take a while. Others, meanwhile, please drop a present in the chat box. Meanwhile, Monarch, are you not on a stable connection?
Sir, I am on stable connection, sir. Sir, the option is still not visible. Oh, active, sir.
It happens sometimes. This. If you check in by website, by web version, web version has certain limitations. If you check in by desktop app, it is much efficient.
Okay. So should I start it again?
Maybe you can drop off and join back, and do let me know if it's not working out, or maybe you can take a screenshot and drop me on WhatsApp so that I can at least see what is happening.
Okay.
How do I? Yes, the problem is how do I
Hi,
see
sir.
what the
Can you
problem
repeat
is?
the last step, sir? Hi, sir. Can you repeat the last step? I did not get it.
Rehan, last step.
Yes. How to create a table, like this creating a table? I did not get it. Company database you have created, right?
Coming to it.
I did.
There are only a few people who have marked themselves present. I see some 39 participants, including me. So there must be 30 students here, if not more. Please don't miss this. Mark present here. Don't be attentive to this one, please. You don't need to do it multiple times, but please at least once do that. What I was explaining was we are trying to do a DDL, proper DDL, by writing a code. The code is we want to create a table, employee. We want to call it employee. Now, employee will contain what columns? We are defining those columns. For example, it should contain F name. You see that? The table which has come to you, which is to be uploaded onto the database, it contains a column F name. So, okay, we are entering that column here. It will be a column. Now we are defining what column is this. That's where DDL comes. We are defining it. It will be a character column. It will contain alphabets. It can go up to length of 30. And where means, think about it, what where means. Can somebody come to this? What is char and what is varchar? You see a data type that is char. Then there is a data type which is varchar. Yes, var stands for variable, and variable in terms of length. You see, we are defining this as it first name of a person can be of, we are saying it can go up to length of 30, but it is not a mandate to go up to length of 30. It can be shorter too. So we have defined the length, and I think that is sufficient enough. I don't think any first name will go up to the length of 30, beyond the length of 30. So it seems like a sufficient enough. But at the same time, it is not a mandate that it should always be length of 30. Where does it help? It helps in memory, when this variable will occupy the memory on the database. So suppose a first name is of length. Suppose there is first name which is of length. Say somebody is Sumit. It is of length 5. So what will be our what should be our intention, that it should occupy only 5 bits or bytes or whatever unit it is consuming. So it should contain only 5 bits of memory. It should not contain instead of 30 because we have done it variable. On the other hand, this cache down below, I have defined that there is something called SSN. It should be character of length 9. You realize what is going to be the problem with this? It will always occupy 9 units of memory when I have defined it length is 9. I think you have executed Manohar. Uh, okay, well, now can somebody tell me, we know the benefit of varchar now. If something is 30, if goes up to length of 30, a text, it will occupy length 30. If it is not 30, it is less, say it is 10 or 5 or 12, so it will take that length only. It will not consume the uh, extra bits of memory. Then why use char here? Why not varchar? We could have done that here also, no? Anybody? Because yes, exactly. Because this char is, I'm calling it length 9 because it is SSN. The data you keep here is SSN. What is SSN? SSN is kind of, SSN means, SSN stands for Social Security Number, which is kind of Aadhaar card as it works, as Aadhaar is working in India. Abhimanyu and Shubhangi, I can pretty much understand because you are not able to follow. Okay, Jiva. Okay, Nikhil. Maybe I would tweak something out. Till when you are with me, I hope you are with me that when we are creating something. When we come to data type now, what are data? Okay, I'll get back to this. Can we use integer in case of SSN? We are okay. Okay, let's understand this. Let's understand it this way. You guys familiar with this Nikhil, Jiva, and of course Shivangi and Abhimanyu? The data types. Any programming you have been into? What are data types and where do they come from? What do they represent? No, not very clear. Seems okay. Seems genuine. Okay. Okay. Let's take a step back. Stay with me. Let's come to the concept of dataset. Leave SQL for now. What do you think a dataset is? Excel sheet. Excel sheet, a two-dimensional structure of several values, which can go up to hundreds and thousands and maybe millions, right? That's what a dataset is. Now, in the language of data science, we call these columns at क्या होंगे? What will this data set contain? It will contain some columns and some rows. That's a data set. All in all, that's all a data set is. So in terminology of data science, the columns are referred as variables. The information which will vary from person to person. And these rows are called objects of observations. Observations. Yeah, these are observations. They are people. They are your observations which are which may be hundreds of thousands or maybe millions, which I'm talking about. Now, coming back to the example of this employees data table. What do you think? Just not going into jargons for now. No? Let's keep this simple. An organization which is maintaining the database of its employees in an Excel sheet. Yes, tell me what will be the variables here? What will be the column headers? Somebody? What can be the column headers here? Employee name, okay. Employee age, okay. ID, okay. Employee ID. Address. Date of joining, very fine. Most important, yes. CTC. Paisa. Rokda. Money value. Yes or no? Maybe contact details. What else? Maybe designation. Maybe department. Yes or no? This kind of information may be there. And then there may be many more. Yes, maybe DOJ, DOB, family details, blah, 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 whatsoever. So all in all, these are the details of an employee that can exist here in the database. Tell me one thing, who said employee ID? Who mentioned this? Trust me, I am not going to backfire on you. I wanted to see. Many of you mentioned that, and for a very good reason. It is, yes, important. What do you think employee ID is required when you you already have employee's name? You know that who is employee. Why employee ID? Why an unnecessary column? What do they write as employee ID? Do they write some random number? Yes or no? Why this unnecessary column? Now you are getting, yes, there may be several persons with the same name, and by chance it may happen that they have same surname also. So name cannot be a single identifier. Name cannot be the unique identifier. I need something which is unique identifier for each person, each observation in this database. Yep, and exactly. This is the one which is called as unique key. Yeah, or we can call it primary key. So what are the type of variables? Type of variables, by variables I mean columns. So you will remember this terminology. So there is essentially a variable required primary key. In each table there will be something which will act as primary key, which should be there to identify each observation uniquely. Fair? Stay with me just now. It can work as unique key, yes, it can work as primary or unique key. Okay, what else? Now what else there is? What other data there is? What can be other type of variables? Broadly, there will be two kinds of variables in your database, like primary key, that is altogether different. Then there can be, we call them categorical variables. Categorical variables such as, say, department. Tell me if there are 100 employees in this organization. There are many more employees in this organization. And what are their departments? What are the departments usually there in a company? It may be operations, sales, HR, correct, accounts, finance, analytics, legal, supply chain, manufacturing, admin. Yes or no? Correct. Purchase, OEM, this and that. There can be several departments. Now tell me one thing. Despite this company has 100 employees or maybe 1000 employees, anyway they are going to fall in these categories. Yes or no? Department. There may be 1000 employees in this company. The departments will be this many only. Maybe 8, 10, or 12. What? How many there are? So I can categorize this entire population of 1000 employees into these 10 categories. So this is the variable whom I am calling that it is categorical. So such variables are called categorical variables. Within categorical variables, there are types of variables. I am calling it nominal categorical. For example, department. Stay with me on this nominal thing. I'll explain it just in a moment. So that is nominal categorical. So within categorical, there can be subcategories. check this out. Designation. What will be the designation of these 1000 employees? Somebody is executive, okay, somebody is manager, very well. Somebody is team lead, not team lead. What am I doing? Team lead. Okay, assistant managers, deputy managers, VP or AVP, right? Training, very fine. Somebody is just a trainee yet. Correct. A few will be CEO, one will be CEO, one will be CXO, kind of, and so on. Think about it, barring the CEO, okay, CEO will be only one. But barring that, do you think again it is similar scenario? I can categorize this population of 100 employees according to these designations, these 10, 12 designations, 15, whatsoever we have decided. Whatever fancy name HR has decided that we will call you this. Okay, then there are maybe 50 executives, then there are 20 managers, then maybe there are 30 team leads, and so on. VPs, okay, VPs will be only 4 or 5, but yes, again, enter the category. Yes or no? I can again categorize, again categorical. According to designation, again I can categorize these employees. But this time I have one extra information. Can somebody locate that? In this data set, there are categories, but within those categories, think about it. There is an order also. I know that trainee is junior to executive. Yes, I know that executive is junior to team lead. Team lead is junior to manager, and manager is junior to VP. Yes, VP would be beating everybody. Yeah, I am not including AM, DM, and SM, everybody all together. I'm just giving you a crude example, but I hope I am making my point. You are getting this. Yep. So there is an order also. I have categories, and each category shows its order also. There is a hierarchy here. So such variables are called ordinal if they have order in them. There is an inherent order. So we are calling such variables ordinal categorical. For example, designation. Now think about it. I am calling it ordinal designation, ordinal categorical like designation. इससे पहले before that I said department is nominal categorical. Nominal categorical. Now how are they different? Think about it. Can in any sense I say that sales is greater than HR and HR is greater than finance? Because there is no particular order. I cannot make any information on ordinal basis here. There is no sense putting that. And they are all, yes, exactly, Monarch. They are all doing their own job, and in their own sense, they are all important. Okay, so far so good. Moving ahead in categories. Rehan, you want to get beaten by the girls here? You really have a question about it? I won't even answer that. I don't even dare to answer that. Somebody? Will somebody like to answer that? Yes, exactly. Ordinal. Yes, do not. I can't even make out why you are confused about it. Can it be in any sense ordinal? That's why I asked you. You want to get beaten by one of the categories of gender? Fantastic. However, thanks for making the moment light. I think it was getting too much intense. I usually, I keep blowing off the steam in between. But thank you, Rehan. You did a fantastic job. Okay, okay, let's go ahead. So this is two types of categorical. Then there is another kind of categorical variable which may exist. In our case, I can take it as has anybody here been in the job? I mean, not internship, job like for a year or two or three maybe. Somebody? Okay, okay, okay. Wow, I see many people are there because I did not see it coming here. Nobody called it out. If you have worked there, you must be aware with this. PYR, yeah, YR or AR. What is that basically? Those who have been in job, they are familiar to it. They must be familiar to it. Yes or no? ARR, yes. Annual review rating. It varies from 1 to 5 or 0 to 5, something that kind of thing. Yes. Your supervisor provides rates you on basis of your performance, and everything depends on that. Your promotion, your appraisal, your bonus, and everything. Right? And those who are in the job, they will also recognize it. Doesn't matter what you do, this rating is always 3. Yes or no? Average meets expectation. Yeah, yeah. So this rating goes on like, say it is on a scale of somebody is 4, somebody is 3, somebody is 5. Okay, rare of the rare case, and then there are useless people, 1 or 2 rating, and so on. Again, they are giving this data also. What is the rating these people have achieved? Think about it. Depending upon the rating, I can categorize my population. Yes or no? I can categorize my population as these are my first rated employees, these are my 5 rating, these are my 3 rating employees, and so on. Yes, there is category. Is there order in these categories? What do you think? Yes, there is. This qualifies for being in ordinal also because I know 1-star employees are the worst kind. 2-star employees are better than that. And maybe so and so. So on. 4-star are better and 5-star are the best. Correct? So there is order also. Now I am calling in this order, think about it. In this order, there is a constant interval also. There is a scale also. If I am saying 3 is better than 2, so I know 3 stars are better than 2 stars by 1 star. If I say 3 stars are better than 1 star, by how much? By 2 units. Getting the gist? 3 stars are worse than 5 stars, lesser than 5-star employees. By how much? 2 units. So now I have a scale also. I have a constant interval, so I can measure the scale also of this order. Taking a step back, think about it. I know team lead is senior than trainee. By how much? Do I have any scale here? I don't think so. You're getting this idea, right? So there is order, but there is no scale. In this case, there is categories, then there is order, and then there is interval also. So such variables are called interval categorical. I hope so far it is going okay. All those. Don't worry about that data type thing. I will gel this all to one common thing just in a few minutes. Okay. I realized I had to take a step back. Okay. Yeah. So these are categorical variables. Then there are, we call them continuous variables. Categorical variables on basis of which we can categorize this population. We can choose subset of this population. I want to see only HR's data, the people who work in HR. I want to see only employees who are 5 rated. I want to see the data of managers only. That is categorical. Now what do I do with these categories? See, analysis is always about numbers. Yes or no? It is as simple as that. What do you analyze? You are analyzing number. It is always a number. It is total of something. It is average of something. It is count of something. Eventually, it is that. So those numbers, we are calling them as continuous variables. Continuous variables, for example, if well, let's not call it CTC, let's call it salary. 25K, 20K. Let's put it as a number itself. Yes or no? This kind of salaries and so on. It will be a number. So those variables we are calling continuous variables. How do we identify continuous variables? Very too simple. Continuous variable will be very easy. Number one, they will be numbers. Any day they will be numbers. It can be age, salary, whatsoever. It will be number. Second condition to be a continuous variable is numeric operations on these numbers make sense. In this case, no one will want. Okay. Maybe my mistake. How do you like it? Now seems fine. Yeah, seems like a manager enough. Getting back, I am saying continuous variable will be those. Number one, they should be numbers. Very simple. And numeric operations should make sense also. Then they will be continuous variables. For example, salary. Salary is always number. Very fine. And if I say the average of these three people's salary is something, how much? It is something 1,23,333. Makes sense, yes or no? If I calculate average of these three persons' salary, makes sense. If I take total of the salary of my employees, makes sense. Getting back. Now I think everybody will be able to relate it. Think about it. Employee ID. It is also number. But does the numeric operation make sense here? I am calculating average of these three employee IDs. What is the meaning of this? Yes or no? Getting? Contact details. A mobile number of 10 digits, another mobile number of 10 digits, another mobile number of 10 digits, and I am taking total of these mobile numbers. These are numbers, but does numeric operation make any sense? So are they continuous variable? Getting the idea right? Getting the idea right? Now you are getting it? Now tell me, average of Aadhaar card numbers. Does it make sense? Average of social security numbers. Does it make sense? That's why character. Getting the idea now? We can keep it integer, but as integer, it has no meaning as a number. Yeah. It doesn't have any meaning as a number. Number is only fruitful to me when I can do some numeric operations. If numeric operations are not making sense, let's not keep it as number. It will trouble me sooner or later. Got it right? Data definition. It is important somewhere. Getting back. A little bit description here now of various data types possible. I have different kind of data we have seen. Okay, within continuous, we have seen that it could be number, it should be number, and numeric operation should make sense. Then it is continuous variable. Now, within continuous variable, there can be two types. One is we call, heard of it somebody? What can be the two kinds of continuous variables? Yes, the one you are calling float. Terminology wise, we call them ratio. We call them ratio also, or we call them perfect continuous, or just simply continuous also has come into fashion. One kind is this. What does it mean is that your variable can take any value between two integers. For example, salary of people. Can somebody's salary be 50,000? Yes or no? Maybe. Can somebody's salary be 50,001 rupee? As the case happens, yes, it can be. Can somebody have salary 50,023 paisa? It may happen. So it can have a fractional part. It can, practically it can take any value between two consecutive integers. It can take infinite number of values. So it can be like a salary more, if we're going into a more crunch example, it can be heights. Heights, yes or no? If I claim my height is 5 feet 8 inches, is it so? Am I very sure that my height is exactly 5 feet 8 inches? Not a millimeter above, not a millimeter below. Nobody can be that sure. Yes or no? So these are perfect continuous, or we call them ratio, and as the name suggests, it can take a ratio value. Then there can be variables which cannot take intermediate value. For example, age. Okay, age तो नहीं कह सकते. We cannot call age here because age can have. Okay. Yeah. Suppose they are recording this type of variable also for some reason. Think about it. What will be coming here? They are recording how many people report to this person. Executive, maybe only a trainee reports to him. Manager, maybe 20 people report to him. Team lead, maybe a team of 5 reports to him. VP, okay, maybe 100 people are reporting. You getting the idea? This number of reportee, if I talk about this particular person, either there will be 20% or there will be 21%. It will never be 20.2 or 21.5 and kind of thing. Yes, it cannot take fractional value. What do we call them? No, not employee ID. Monarch. Employee ID is not even continuous variable. As numeric, it does not have any meaning. We are talking about continuous variables. We call them discrete variables. Discrete. So they will keep integer values only. Don't confuse it with employee ID. Monarch employee ID is not even continuous. Leave apart, ratio or discrete. Continuous will be the one where numeric operations make sense. Think about it. I take average of these number of reportees. I want to see how many reportees are assigned to who. That makes sense. I take average of these employee IDs. It is nonsense. Yep. Uh, has it gone way too intense? I don't. I try to keep it. I try to keep it alive. An example which everybody can gel to. Now coming up to data types, which we were discussing just a few minutes ago. How do I mention these variables, which are, so broadly there will be data types to identify these two broad categories: categorical variables, continuous variables. Give me a moment, this. So broadly, I need to identify who are categorical and who are numeric. Think about it. When these are categoricals, usually these will be alphabets, and we denote alphabetical strings by data type character in programming. So broadly, in any programming, you will come across this data type. Character. Character represents alphabets. Again, think about it. If I assign employee ID, that it is my character data type. So I am, in a way, I am doing justice. As number, it has no meaning. If I store it as number, maybe someday somebody will glitch by doing some numeric operation on that. So what we are doing here is, in at the time of data definition in itself, what we are doing with SSN here is, at the time of data definition itself, we are nipping this thing in the bud, that this is character, it is not a number. So nothing further is going to treat it like a number. Nobody, no analyst, no data entry engineer, no data entry operator, nobody is going to make that mistake. It is taken care of. It is defined already. I hope now it makes sense. Many people were confused about it. A little bit of clarity. You can stay with me. Okay. Then there is a version of this character data type. The version of this, that is varchar, which is what I am defining here is, see, I have said SSN should be a character of length n, because we already know that social security number is a 9-digit number. Yes, Abhimanyu? Yeah, what is, I mean, why are you so overwhelmed about this? Yeah, this has been written manually. Not exactly me, but somebody. Okay, okay. Are you afraid of? overwhelmed by these many jargons, that how to think and how to put it where. Don't worry. Within a few days, you will be, you will be cruising through these kind of course. Trust me. By next week, you will be enjoying all this. Okay, I was talking about character. We kept his character of length 9 because we already know that SSN is a 9-digit number. Tell me if I am keeping mobile number in Indian context. Think about it. Mobile number in Indian context. Yes, we already know it is going to be a 10-digit number. I also know that it has no sense as number. It is just data. As number, it is not continuous variable. So I can keep that as character 10. Same is happening here. Jyoti, not char mob 10. It should be mob char 10. Wow, you guys are doing wonders today. But I hope you got it right. Okay. Fair. What I wanted to, what my intention was to explain was varchar. I did not keep it as varchar because I already know it will always be 10 digits. It cannot be shorter than that. On the other hand, last name, first name, think about it. Are they essentially going to be of length 30? I don't think so. They will be way shorter. Most of them will be shorter. It will keep varying, sometimes 10, sometimes 12, sometimes 15. So for that, I have a version of that char data type, which is varchar, which allows me to consume only that much memory, which has been taken by the variable name. So say the last name is, for somebody, last name is, so it will take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It will consume 8 units of memory and rest will be omitted for further use. If somehow it crosses the length, so the rest of the data will be, it will vanish. It will not be taken. This data definition will not allow rest of the data to come in. You are defining your data already, so it will not allow further data. Same goes for other things. Then there is a special data type, which is date. When we mention something as date, it begins to have entirely different kind of meaning. Now it is not character, now it is not number. So date and time is, you can say, another dimension of data types. Salary, Abhimanyu, salary, think about it. Salary would be recorded in numbers, yes or no? And do you think as number it has some meaning? If I want to summarize on salary, say I want to see total salary of my employees. Does it make sense? A simple distinction. Just do that in your head. If I try a numeric operation on salary, does it make sense? Yes, it does. As simple as that. So now it should be continuous. Continuous would be represented in two ways, which keep where I want that decimal part could be there. We call that data type float. And if something is discrete, we call it integer. Integer is represented by int. So int cannot have integer. Yeah, it will be whole numbers. It cannot have decimal portion, but yet it is continuous variable and it will have numeric operations will make sense here. So those conditions are still in place. Seems okay? Want to go through further? Should I move ahead? Okay, salary, what it means by float 10 comma 2. What does it mean by float 10 comma 2? It means this is the length. That float salary will be a floating point number. Its length can be 10 and it can go up to 2 places of decimal. Fair? Varchar can be more than 30 digit. Varchar, if you mention that it can go up to anything, you can mention it 50. Doesn't matter. Now it can take up to 50. Whatever length you have decided, it can go up to that length. Okay. Any further question regarding data types? Is it having the maximum limit for the data types? Limit is not on data type. Limit is on the length of the data going into this value. I hope you are talking about. You wanted to ask about length. Yes, it is limit on length. It has nothing to do with data type. Okay with this? Now how much range it is? Okay, we will come to this. Just a number. Although not very, uh, not something which very much bothers me, but still we will talk about it. Just another minute. D number, it should be a column of small int. Now, small int is again a variation of integer. It can be integer. Check out your that PDF. Tell me what is this D now and why it is int and why it is small. Can you figure this out? Just go ahead. Give it a try. I wanted to create employee table from that PDF. That PDF contains a column, I think, D and O. Why I am calling it int and why small? What is this column telling you? Go ahead, check it out. You got this? It is department number. It is department number, right? Why it is small int? It is small int because it is taking only yes department number. How many departments would a company have? So they are representing each department by a single digit, maybe 0, 1, 2, 3. So it contains all. It is always one length number. So I think small int can do justice here. But again, why int? Does it have any meaning as integer? We have just been through this, no? What is the meaning of department number? Can I take sum total of department numbers? Will it make any sense there? Anubhav, because it is integer, it is not decimal. Okay, but my question is something else. Integer or decimal, a number makes sense if I can do some numeric operations. I cannot do that. I don't see any sense in that. In a way, it is a categorical department. Yeah, it is a categorical thing. If I say categorize my population by department name, you would categorize, no? So it is similar case. Now I am categorizing by department number. It is categorical. No numeric operation is making sense here. Why not care? You tell me. Getting the idea? This is a mistake on purpose. This is just for you to figure it out, just for you to give it a thought. Just to strain you a little bit. Oh, sir, as if you are not strained already. No, I will keep doing. I keep doing these things. So stay attentive with me. ठीक है, everybody got this right? Yeah, yes, kind of. I will keep doing these kind of mistakes, and I'll keep making you doing making mistakes, and I will leave it to you to figure it out. Finally, there is something called constant. Enough of categorical, enough of continuous. Remember primary key? We talked about it. Think about it. What can act as primary key for employee table? For this employee table. These are employee names, their middle name, their last name, their SSN. Employee ID. Where is employee ID? There is no column employee ID. Department number. How come department number pratham? What is a primary key which uniquely identifies each row? You check this out. There are many people working in same department. How can you identify by department number? If I say department number 4, so this is also 4, this is also 4, this is also 4. How can I uniquely identify? Getting Pratham, getting the idea? क्या गलत हुआ? What happened? What went wrong? Fair. So now we have defined the table. Now let's insert values into this table. First things first, how many people executed this and faced errors? Many of you have already done that. So this will be kind of SQL queries usually you will find the same syntax, and this semicolon sign, it will be amended. It means termination. This semicolon sign signifies that this particular query, it started off here and now it is terminated, and whatever we type next, now that is a different query. Okay. How do we execute? You can simply execute by Control Enter, or you can keep your cursor somewhere in this, maybe starting, maybe middle, maybe end in this query, and execute by this sign. And this is a lightning sign with an I in between. So this also executes the query where your cursor is. Where the cursor is, it is of no consequence. It can be in the starting, in the middle, in the end. It should be just highlighting the query somewhere. I try to execute, and what happens? You see down below, you will keep seeing what happened to your execution in this action output tab. Has anybody tried this? Manohar has tried this, and you have faced the error here. It is showing this cross means no execution, there is some error, and it is telling you what the error is. So when error comes, you don't need to panic, you need to read what the error is. So again, Workbench is trying to help you out. What is the error? What it has, what it is mentioning here? Yes, no database selected. Select the. Got this? I have mentioned that I want to create table. I have not mentioned which database. So it is saying select the database. If we click on this, double click on this database, the company DB, you will see that it comes in bold font. It will be highlighted. So double click just that. When you do that, it will appear here that now your schema is company DB. Whatever you want to create or update or drop, it is regarding company DB database. Done so far? Along with me? Now let's execute. Now I have executed, and this time what happens? Again, let's check action output. It says, what is this sign? What this sign is? Well, you are all aware of. It is not saying that you have made some error or that your query is executed. Your query is executed anyway. It is just showing some warning sign. It is saying that something unexpected has happened by this query. So please have a look. Again, you see how friendly is how what a friendly behavior Workbench is showing you. It is trying to help you out at every step. Let's see what could have gone wrong. Of course, Monarch, no problem. No problem with that. Maybe you can drop it just now. Maybe it will help others too. Maybe I missed earlier what your problem was, what you were discussing, because there were so many, there came in many texts in the chat box, and perhaps I missed, but maybe you can drop that again. Okay, however, let's see what has happened. One thing that you will require to do is you will have to refresh this from this button here. Let's refresh these schemas, and now if I check tables, okay, there is an employee table. I click on this employee table. Everybody here, along with me? I see that all the columns, the way they were expected to, SSN, which is highlighted because it is primary key mentioned here, showing here. Okay, fair enough, Monarch, as you wish. Seems good. But this table has no values as of now. If you want to check, you can click on this tabular form here and you will be able to see the table. What is the data you have? You check this out, it is nothing, nothing at all. Blank table. Let's get some data. Which data? The data sitting in this your yes, the raw data which you were provided and which you wanted to upload onto the database company DB. So let's go ahead. Table is ready, and this is the way we will enter the data here in the chat box. Say copy and paste. Give it a second. Think about it. How it is happening this time. Your query is insert into. You want to insert some values into the employee table which you have created. You are mentioning the order of columns, that these values which you want to enter, what will be the order of them? Here Devesh. Database missing because Jagadish, you have to double click here on the database so that Workbench will know that which database you want to create table into. So the database which we have created is company DB. Double click on that, so it will show in this highlighted font, in this bold font. After that, it will run. Database address is missing. I don't exactly know what are you facing some error, or you are saying that I have made some mistake in this code. Let me check this out. It is working just fine with me. I have inserted some values. I see tables. Tables is employee, and if I check employee table, it is done. That's what I'm saying. Double click on this company DB here. you should be able to see this in this bold font. One is this regular font. When you double click that, it should be appear in this bold font. However, you realize how much hardworking are the data engineers, those who are doing this for you. You will not be doing this, thankfully. Yeah, phew. Sigh of relief. You will not be dealing with this part. It is just to introduce you that how data engineers uh, enter the data into the database. Do you want to compare it with your employee table? Everything fine? Just like that? Can you work on other tables? Can you complete this database by yourself? Give it a try. Okay. MySQL, fortunately, unfortunately, MySQL is not case sensitive. So it doesn't matter you choose uppercase or lowercase. I'm talking about functions. I'm not talking about these texts. If you enter these in capital and small, then it will treat them differently. But yes, as far as commands are concerned, it doesn't. It does not mind uppercase or lowercase mismatch. Okay. Somebody has joined in my name, caller 3. Please correct your name. Bring it to your full name, first name, last name. Anubhav, you are seeing this company DB. Click on that. You see tables. You drop table. Here should be employee table. If it is not there, refresh it here. Refresh first from here. Shankar, you too. Now, so far there have been, many things, some data types and, create and table, and you may be wondering how would you remember these, or how can anybody know that what are these data types, and what are the variants of these data types, and where to use which? So here goes the link in the chat box. So it can come to your immediate help. It can be your mini Google for SQL. Okay, you just have to search for right keywords. You want to do something, what it could be the function for that, what could be the syntax for that, and it is a very exhaustive website. Practically, it contains all the information about MySQL. fair. So if you face some difficulty, you can refer this link. Okay, will you give it a try? Try to complete that table and try to bring it to that your company database. Okay, we will not very much dwell upon DDL. Maybe maximum by tomorrow we will try to move ahead to DML and DQL parts. The very first reason, because it is not your job, honestly speaking. It is just for the information sense. You should know that. Well, guys, so I think enough for one day. Let's call it a day. So bye bye and take care. Let's connect tomorrow, same time. Very welcome, everybody. So those who have no further query, they can drop off. Goodbye to them.